Welcome back to my series of sessions on public speaking essentials for success. The reason why I have started these sessions are I have seen many advertisements in the recent past that certain trainers are providing this public speaking courses at a huge cost. As a speaker who participated in one contest and as a public speaking trainer for children and professionals, I thought, why can't I share the knowledge so that those interested can benefit out of it? So what I'm essentially doing here is I'm breaking the concepts of public speaking into parts and then explaining each part in detail with relevant examples and pictures, videos, so that it will be easier for understanding even for a kid and as well as any professional. So the concepts are simple and it's the same across whoever provides it. So in case if you have missed my previous sessions on the best techniques to start a speech and then wonderful ways to close a speech and what is body language and then what are the key components of it, you can always watch them on my YouTube channel, Be Your Best Person. And in my previous video, we have covered the first core component of body language, that is posture, that is how to stand and then when to move and when not to move on the stage. Today we are going to cover the second most important aspect of body language, that is the gestures. Let me share my screen. Okay. Let's see this video, one video, and then we'll discuss why it is pretty much important for the topic that we are going to discuss now. Have a look.
Provided they are anti-Batista. Now let's just see what this means. We have 5 treaties with Latin America, including the one setting up the Organization of American States in Bogota in 1948, in which we've agreed not to intervene in the internal affairs of any other American country, and they as well have agreed to do likewise. The Charter of the United Nations, its preamble, Article 1 and Article 2, also provide that there shall be no intervention by one nation in the internal affairs of another.
We're going to prevent Castro's influence from spreading throughout all of Latin America. His influence is strong enough today to prevent us from getting the other countries of Latin America to join with us in economic quarantine. His influence is growing, mostly because this administration has ignored Latin America. You yourself said, Mr. Vice President, a month ago, that if we had provided the kind of economic aid 5 years ago that we are now providing, we might never have had Castro. Why didn't we?
So what is the relevance of this video to the topic that we are going to discuss now? Just to give you a background, you might have already known John F. Kennedy, the one who is responding, and then the first person is Richard Nixon. So this is the presidential debate that was held in the year 1961, and the uniqueness of this debate is it is the first time ever in United States that the presidential debate is being televised at that point of time. And at that moment of this debate, Richard Nixon has a favorable percent of majority, that is around 60 to 70% people are poised to elect him as the president, while the newcomer John F. Kennedy is still struggling to get support from the US voters. But this presidential debate is a game changer for John F. Kennedy. The reason being, if you have observed, the body language that the two presidential candidates has shown here, the gestures in particular, body language as we have discussed, it for the first one is the posture, and the second one is the gestures. That means gestures entails the hand movements and the facial expressions. And this debate has turned the tide in favor of John F. Kennedy, because the people who watch the television were more than the people who listened to this debate on radio. That's a simple fact. Of course, there are other reasons as well for John F. Kennedy's win, but this debate has actually turned the tide in his favor. That's the importance of gestures, that is the hand movements and expressions of a person. It can cost you the presidential seat of United States as well. So as we have seen, the gestures contains comprised of hand movements and facial expressions, and let's deep dive into the hand movements part. of course, it is the relevant hand movement. So whenever, for example, in the debate we have seen John F. Kennedy, he being in the debate, he needs to point out the deficiencies and incompetencies of the government, the then government, where Richard Nixon was the vice president. So he made best use of his hand movements to point out those things, and then that created a favorable impact on US leaders, right? And got him votes. And the second most important point is the hand movements should always be above the elbow. Above the elbow. One reason is if the hand movements are below the elbow, it looks awkward. And the second reason is there are chances that you might be speaking on a podium. In general, speakers when they go on stage, sometimes they are expected to speak from the podium, and then at that point the podium covers your body till your elbow. So whatever hand movements that you are making, it should be above the elbow. That's the simple fact. And sometimes people whom I mentored on public speaking, they ask, so you say that we need to do hand movements, but there are sometimes when there is no need, or some points the movements of hand are not needed at some point. So what should we do? What should be the position of the hands? Should we put it in the pockets, or should we keep our hands back or fold our hands? No. This is the position that we need to keep our hands. This is called steeple position. That means you are just putting your hands in the inverted triangle way, so that they are ever ready to make hand movements. So this is being in the ready position. So it doesn't take any effort for that matter to move your hands from this position and then make hand movements. For example, just the way this guy has kept. And the don'ts of hand movements, folding hands. Because some people perceive when you are folding hands, you are either arrogant or not confident enough to speak, or you are not all comfortable enough to speak. So it might look submissive as well. Folding hands to be avoided, and clasping of the hands. Clasping means interlacing the fingers of one hand on the other, and then putting your hands like this. So when you do like this, and then when you have to make any hand movement, you need to break the bond between these two hands, and then it takes effort and time. So it needs to be avoided. The best position is like this. So when I say to the participants of or the mentees of public speaking to keep your hands in that steeple position in order to be ready, and after that what I have observed is they started keeping the hands like this only, and then not making any hand movements. So even that is, the message was not right at that point of time. So it is the position when there are no hand movements. It doesn't mean that you need to keep your hands like this always. So it is being in the ready position. Thank you. Yeah. The next point is facial expressions. So it should be lively and animated, and then they should be consistent with your speech. Generally, children are the best people to show the emotions according to the speech. As grown-ups, we think that when we show our emotions, it is kind of childish. That is not the case. If you are not showing the emotion, and if your expression is not consistent with your speech, you will not be able to make a connect with the audience. And as a speaker, that's the first duty for you, to make a strong connect with the audience. And for example, a person might say that I am excited to start my new company. Is there any excitement? So that's how it is. Just like news readers, whether it's the news about the COVID deaths or India winning a Olympic medal, the expressions remains the same. It should not be like that. It should be lively, animated, and then according to the speech. And then we need to make best use of the triad. In facial expressions, the triad means our eyes, eyebrows, and mouth. If you see any cartoonist, or if you see any cartoon for that matter, the expressions are just shown by changing these triad, right? With just changing the eyes, eyebrows, and mouth, the cartoonist can draw any kind of expression. Any expression involves these three body parts. So we need to make best use of this in order to show our facial expressions. Let's watch this speech of Hitler, and we'll know the importance of hand movements and expressions.
Du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt eine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
So, if you have observed, Hitler has made best use of his gestures. I mean, there is a reason for his emerging from the position of a small Nazi party worker to the ruler of Germany, because he was able to incite or motivate Germans purely with his hand movements and gestures in his speech. Just to recap, for today's session, hand movements should be relevant, and then it should be always in the elbow position. And in case if there are no movements, then you can keep it in the steeple position. But this is not the standard position that you need to keep all through the speech. And facial expressions, as discussed, should be lively and animated. And then we need to make use of our pride to make the best facial expressions and then have a strong connect with the audience. And this is the gist for today. And in the upcoming video, we'll be discussing regarding the third most important aspect of body language, that is eye contact. In case if you have missed my previous sessions, you can always watch them on my YouTube channel, Be Your Best Version. I post videos on public speaking and interpersonal skills that can benefit most of the people. Thank you for watching, and then thanks a lot for the encouragement that I have been receiving for publishing these sessions. I keep posting these videos for the benefit of all of you. And I want to know your one takeaway from this session, and I would like to hear your feedback as well.